Good morning. This is Angela with today's cup of tea. As we continue on our path to spiritual enlightenment, or just on our spiritual journey to Earth 2.0, as I like to call it, we get deeper and deeper. The more we progress on this path, the deeper and deeper we get into the muck that's really at the core of our being. Well, a lot of times what's core to us and what gets really, really deep is stuff that we are so blind to because it is so ingrained in the way we act and the way we and what we believe and how we react to it, and we have no idea that that's where it comes from. One of the biggest parts of this, one of the most deeply ingrained attitudes that many have, is bias and prejudice. And the funny thing is, a lot of times people will say, oh, that's not me, I'm not biased at all, I love all kinds of people, blah blah blah. But then, 5 minutes later they'll say, oh, I just hate people who do this, or I just don't like that kind of person. They're not the kind of person I really like. That's a bias. And so it doesn't have to be about the color of your skin or your gender or the belief system, the religion or institution or culture that you come from. It can be a very small subset of people. I hate people who do this. And all that comes from is this belief that's been ingrained in you that people who blank, fill in the blank, are bad or wrong or negative in any way. And some of it could be from what's been instilled in you by others that have been taught, that have taught you since you were little. Or it can be just from personal experiences, from just a certain kind of person that you had a certain kind of experience with that repeated itself several times, and then it caused you to create a bias. Well, so let's turn this all around. What if this has come up in multiple times in your purview, in your consciousness? Why is it bringing that? Why is it coming up into your reality? What is it within you that you need to clear out? Now, this is really getting into some deep muck, because it can be something so embedded from when you were a young child, or from some circumstance that had layers of embedding of bias and all that kind of stuff, that it's challenging sometimes for us to look at it. Or it can be a multiple life thing. It can be, now I'm going to get a little woo-woo today, because a lot of this tends to come from situations from other lives and lessons that we've had, or as a certain kind of person, or there are so many different aspects of how to look at this, and you don't even have to look at it from the multiple life perspective. You can look at it from the single life perspective and just say, where in my life has this come up and why. So the first step is to listen to your thoughts and listen to your feelings and your actions, and what kind of person do you avoid and why. When somebody's talking about some kind of, say, a person who tortures animals or kids or beats on somebody else or comes from a certain neighborhood or area, why is that? Why does that make you feel uncomfortable? We've talked so many times in these webcasts about how everyone has their individual paths. And I've had so many people, of course, when we get into a conversation regarding biases and stuff, then you turn around and somebody says, well, what about Hitler? Essentially, that always comes up. What about Hitler? What about so-and-so? And I always say, that person had their own path. That person had their own lessons to learn, as did the majority of the population that dealt with that person at the time that they were here. And it caused a huge learning experience of some sort. And so if you think of it from those terms, instead of that person was wrong or bad or evil, pulling out that belief, because we've talked about that there, if we look at the universe from this universal perspective of the only absolute in this universe is love, then all of the other stuff is made up. Bad, evil, wrong. And it doesn't matter whether you are from here, from this planet, from another galaxy, from another life, from another, race. We're all part of the same thing. We are all part of one. So again, what we're doing now is we're taking down these walls. We have built to identify ourselves as to what we're not, from what we're not is to what we are. And we're going to say, how come this is coming up, this negative experience, the perception of a negative experience with this person or kind of person is coming up in my experience? What is it within me that I need to clear? Because I can't look at it myself. I can't look at it myself, so I'm creating it in my reality so that I have to look at it. And then work on clearing it out. So many times we overlook this, and this is very core and essential because I see this happen all the time. I see it happen especially in the whole spiritual community in terms of, oh, well, that person only does this. And and I've caught myself a couple of times thinking that too. And then okay, let's look at that and see where it comes from you, that I have to clear that out. And just accept them as different. Just accept them as another version, another facet of you. Because if you start looking at the world that way, and all other people and animals and beings, then you change the way you feel about them regardless of what they're doing. Now, if we truly have our whole path set up so that it is without trauma, drama, and illness, and all, as I always say, and all with ease and grace and balance and harmony and joy and fun, excitement, adventure, and love and humor, then we will truly create that experience for ourselves. If we walk forward without fear, and we walk forward in faith and in trust. Actually, trust is a much more succinct word than faith, because many times people are like, oh, well, you're going to go woo-woo. Well, trust is a big one. Trust in yourself, trust in your higher self, and trust in the universe, or the universal life force, or creator, or however you want to term it. That what's going to be brought to you is in the highest and best and most positive good, without the trauma, drama, and illness. And I, like I said, I bang that into my head. Everybody, all the time that I work with, I'm always like, without the trauma, drama, and illness, because that's what causes it. These negative situations that cause us to learn in one way or another how we don't want to be, or how we do want to be. As a result of some negative situation, we can change that around so that our situations are always positive, and that we can still create situations, but they can be positive, fun, humorous ones, instead of negative trauma, drama, and illness-based ones. So that's a lot to think about, because many people who will watch this are going to say, oh, I have no biases. But then, like I said, they'll come down later on and have a conversation and say, oh, well, I just don't. Yeah, those kind of people, or that person, or I hate people like this. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a bias. It's prejudice. So time for us to look in the mirror and really look at the base of that, because as soon as we start accepting the fact that we are all one, that you are a part of me and I'm a part of you, regardless of what we do, then we are going to shift our behavior with each other and stop judging. Because judging is, oh God, I could talk about judging forever. There's so many topics around judging, but really that's what a bias is judgment. And when we could stop putting walls between us and start trying to understand what we don't. A lot of times we have a bias because we don't understand somebody else. We don't understand where they're coming from. And I use that quote all the time about Marie Curie, there's nothing in life to be feared, it is only to be understood. That is, fear causes the greatest biases, because people don't understand, because we don't understand certain kinds of people. So reach out and try to understand. Try to understand what it is within you also that is creating that, and what it is within you that you can clear out, so that that wall goes away and that reality goes away. So very simple, very complex, all at the same time as a lot of these topics are. And today's clearing, I'm going to put all my disclaimers up front. Without trauma, drama, and illness, and all with ease and grace and balance and harmony and joy and fun, excitement, adventure, love, and humor. For all versions of you, all times, all places, into the ever-expanding universe, to infinity and beyond. For all information to be downloaded via instantaneous and comprehensive download with fully conscious understanding. And for all truths, all of your truths, understandings, definitions, discernments, perceptions, be replaced with creators in terms of the topics in this clearing for divine alignment. Would you like all the following? Greatest truth and understanding on bias, on prejudice, on what your personal biases are. on the cause of them, to bring forward easily, with grace and ease, via instantaneous download, why you have those biases to begin with. To be able to have Creator show you how to see them without having a negative, causing a negative situation in which to see them. Bringing forward any lessons still yet unresolved, to resolve them, to understand what happened and why you started having that bias. To pull all beliefs, all fears, regrets, resentments, rejections, anxieties about those with whom you have a bias, against whom you have a bias. To pull all beliefs regarding people who blank are bad, people who blank are evil, people who blank, there are people who are evil, there are people who are bad, there are people who are wrong. To pull out all the self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions at the cellular level, transform those to Creators that are related to those beliefs. Transform the Creator's light, send them back to Creator, close those receptors absolutely and permanently, open new ones, saturate the cells with the highest vibration of Creator's unconditional love. To thank all parties involved in all the situations historically that have caused you to have these biases and prejudices that we are releasing. To open the doors to apology and forgiveness in all directions, and to download all the feelings and understandings of those apologies and that apology and the apologies and forgiveness. Then to resolve, heal, and clear the timeline in all directions to infinity with the platinum violet flames. And then download all beliefs of I am one with all. I understand all others as part of me. I am without judgment on the actions and beliefs of others. I accept all. And all the feelings associated with that, including that you're worthy, deserving, and able to, that it's possible, allowed, okay, and safe to, that you're ready, willing, and able to, and that you have that available to you right now. And have Creator show you how to accept all, and how to be in acceptance and understanding, and to look at that which you need to clear out that causes those situations, any kind of situation where it would cause discomfort or dis-ease because of a bias that might come up, and how to resolve that instantaneously. And then to offer to any and all ancestors and descendants if they so choose to accept. So if you would like that, take a deep breath, clear your mind, be open to receive, and say, yes, clear bias. And that's it. Have a great one. We'll talk to you later in the week. This is Angela with today's Cup of Tea.